Have you ever felt like the modern financial system is designed to keep you exhausted? It is, because an exhausted mind is easier to control. Wealth isn't the result of labor, it's the result of systems. In 2026, the gap between the struggling and the elite is purely a matter of leverage. As a millionaire businessman, I'm dismantling the illusion of the grind using the sovereign wealth grid to rank the laziest ways to hit a $100 day across 5 factors: learning curves, fulfillment friction, scalability, capital, and systemic risk. In this video, we are deconstructing the 3 pillars of wealth: the golden trap of high-value freelancing, the mechanics of real estate derivative yielding, and my top-ranked algorithmic arbitrage strategy. Each blueprint focuses on pure systemic output over manual effort. By the end of this video, you will possess the exact tactical map to exit the biological treadmill, including the single most common mistake that destroys 90% of beginners. Before we decode the first blueprint, how many hours a day are you trading for a paycheck and what city are you trapped in? Drop it in the comments. Stop playing by their rules. Point 1. High-value skill monetization. The masses call this freelancing. The elite call it the linear foundation. This is the act of taking a high-demand skill and trading it directly for capital. Whether it is high-end video production, algorithmic social media management, or strategic copywriting, you are essentially acting as a specialized consultant. The beauty of this model is its accessibility. Your startup capital is effectively zero. If you possess a laptop and a stable connection, you are already in the top 1% of potential global labor. However, we must address the first principle of this path. You are still trading a non-renewable resource, your time, for a renewable one, money. This is the golden trap. The learning curve is approximately 6 months of deep immersion. To command elite rates, you cannot be a generalist. You must be the surgeon, not the GP. For instance, in 2026, the demand for high-retention video editors is skyrocketing because attention is the new global currency. But here is the hard truth regarding fulfillment. It is high friction. You are dealing with human clients, and humans are notoriously irrational. They will demand revisions that defy logic and expect miracles on a budget. You must develop a stoic shell to handle the constant feedback loop without losing your creative edge. Scalability is where the linear foundation fails. Your income is capped by the number of hours you can physically stay awake unless you transition from a freelancer to a founder by hiring others to execute the labor. This is the point where you move from the labor class to the owner class. Point 2. Real estate derivative. Yielding. Most people believe you need $1 million to make money from real estate. This is a poverty mindset myth. The elite use a strategy known as Airbnb Arbitrage, or what I call real estate derivative yielding. You do not need to own the asset. You only need to control the yield of the asset. The logic is simple. You sign a long-term lease on a property, gaining control of the space, and then you sublet it for short-term premiums. You are the middleman capturing the spread between a fixed monthly cost and a fluctuating high-margin daily rate. The learning curve is a surgical 30 to 90 days. You must master the art of market identification. If you pick a property in a declining neighborhood, you are not an investor, you are a victim. You need to use institutional grade data like AirDNA to understand occupancy rates and seasonal demand before you ever sign a contract. The fulfillment is medium intensity. You are essentially running a micro hotel. Guests will lose keys at 3 a.m., pipes will burst. This is why you must implement systemic automation immediately. Tools like Guesty or Hostfully allow you to manage communication and logistics without being physically present. The financial reality: you need $5,000 to $15,000 in startup capital for deposits and furnishing. The risk is systemic. If local laws change or the market saturates, you are left holding a long-term lease with no short-term revenue. This is why you must get written consent for subletting. Never build a house on someone else's land without a contract. Are you currently building your own dreams, or are you a high-paid architect for someone else's vision? Comment builder. If you are ready to start owning the yield, not just the labor. Point 3. Digital inventory arbitrage. The eBay shop is often dismissed as a hobby. To the visionary, it is an exercise in digital inventory arbitrage. This is the process of identifying market inefficiencies where products are undervalued in one ecosystem and high demand in another. The learning curve is incredibly low, roughly 2 weeks to understand the interface and the shipping logistics. But don't be fooled by the simplicity. Success here requires a predatory eye for trends. Whether it is vintage electronics or niche collectibles, you are looking for the delta, the difference between what a seller thinks an item is worth and what a desperate buyer is willing to pay. Fulfillment is the Achilles heel of this model. You are responsible for the physical logistics. If you don't automate your shipping, you have simply bought yourself a low-paying job. In my years of operating digital storefronts, I have seen many fail because they couldn't handle the stress of customer disputes. My rule: treat refunds as the cost of doing business. Do not let a $20 dispute steal $2,000 worth of your mental energy. Scalability is remarkably high. You can start by scavenging your own home for capital, then move to wholesale suppliers or liquidators. You can eventually run multiple shops across different niches, effectively diversifying your risk. Startup capital is a modest $500, which provides enough liquidity to test the market without risking your livelihood. Point 4. Digital distribution leverage. Affiliate marketing is the ultimate expression of the digital toll bridge concept. You do not own the product, you do not handle the customer service, you do not manage the inventory, you simply control the traffic that flows to the solution. The learning curve is minimal, perhaps 48 hours to understand the mechanics of referral links and tracking pixels. However, the execution requires a deep understanding of psychological triggers. You are not selling a product, you are bridge building between a problem and a solution. In 2026, the old way of running expensive Facebook ads is dead. The elite are using organic distribution leverage. Think of the massive surge in popularity of certain controversial figures. Their growth wasn't paid for, it was decentralized. Thousands of individuals took their long-form content, sliced it into high-impact short-form clips, and flooded the algorithms with their affiliate links embedded. This is the army of one strategy. Fulfillment is effectively zero. Once the link is clicked and the sale is made, your work is done. This is the closest thing to pure passive income in the digital age. Scalability is limited only by the size of the audience you can influence. The startup capital is approximately $250. Why? Because while you can start for free, the elite invest in high-quality editing to ensure their content stands out in an ocean of mediocrity. The risk is low, but the platform dependency is high. If the social network changes its algorithm, your traffic can vanish overnight. Have you ever felt the soul-crushing weight of a 9-to-5 while watching others capture massive wealth online with half the effort? Share your story in the comments. This is a safe space for those who refuse to settle. Point 5. Algorithmic market arbitrage. This is the pinnacle of the list. We call this the AI Shopify store, but in reality, it is algorithmic market arbitrage. We are using artificial intelligence to remove human error from the most difficult parts of e-commerce: niche selection, store design, and product fulfillment. The learning curve is non-existent. In the past, you needed to be a coder, a designer, and a copywriter. Today, you only need to be an orchestrator. By using platforms like buildyourstore.ai, the machine handles the aesthetics, the layouts, and the initial setup based on a simple prompt. Fulfillment is where the smart laziness truly shines. By integrating a tool like AutoDS, the system becomes a self-sustaining organism. It monitors price changes, updates inventory, and ships products directly from the supplier to the customer. You are not a shopkeeper, you are a system administrator. Let's talk about the math, because this is where the elite focus. Your total startup capital is roughly $1.99. $1 for the Shopify entry and 99 cents for the fulfillment trial. Compare this to the $15,000 required for real estate arbitrage. The ROI potential is mathematically superior because the barrier to entry is so low. However, do not be deceived by the low cost. The flaw in the diamond here is niche selection. If the AI builds you a store for a product no one wants, you have a very efficient way to make $0. You must provide the vision, the AI provides the labor. Scalability is infinite. You can spin up 10 stores in 10 different niches in a single afternoon. If 9 fail and 1 hits, the winner pays for the losers 1,000 times over. This is asymmetric risk in its purest form. Wealth is not a number in a bank account. Wealth is the ability to wake up and decide what your day looks like without asking for permission. Most people will watch this video and do nothing. They will return to their familiar comforts and their familiar complaints. But for the visionaries, the 1% who understand that time is more valuable than gold, these 5 methods are the keys to the kingdom. As for those of you still watching, those who have the discipline to reach the end, here is the hard truth. You do not need 5 ways to make money. You need 1 way that you execute with obsessive focus. Chasing 5 rabbits results in 0 meals. Pick the path that aligns with your current capital and your risk tolerance, and do not look back until you hit that first $100 day. To show me you are part of the elite who actually finished this training, comment the words, "I am awake" below. This is our secret password, a signal that you are ready to stop dreaming and start building. If this provided you with real value, like this video and subscribe. We do not beg for engagement, we trade insight for it. If you are ready for the next level of your financial evolution, click the video on the screen now. The system is waiting for you to break it. I will see you in